Michelle made the decision to leave 35 ill kittens in the woods without any food or attention. But you'll be shocked by what the judge did when she was sentenced. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. It was a calm September evening in Painesville, Ohio, in the year 2005. There was a slight breeze, and the stars were brilliant. In the charming tiny town, everything was in its proper place. But Michelle Murray, 25, was going to make a choice that would completely change her life. Standing on the edge of the woods, she anxiously checked her surroundings to make sure no one was seeing her. Then, just at the right time, she left the city's nightlights behind and entered the woods. She moved swiftly and deliberately, holding a large box with holes in it. She didn't need a flashlight to see where she was going since she knew the woods like the back of her hand. She walked for several minutes before coming to a stop at the trail's entrance. When she turned to look around, there was complete quiet. She was positive that no one else was in the area. She put the box on the floor and carefully raised the lid. Suddenly, the air was filled with the screams of sick kittens. The box was too small to accommodate all 35 of them comfortably. Michelle glanced at the kittens, then averted her gaze. Without another look, she sprang up and ran off, their constant meowing reverberating in her mind until she was out of sight. That night, relieved that the kittens were permanently gone from her life, she rushed home. Knowing there was no way they could be linked to her, she had chosen the woods. Finding her would be like trying to find a needle in a haystack because there were so many cat owners in the city. Sadly for her, it was not the case since she had committed a serious error. 2 weeks later, Michelle was taken aback when 2 policemen showed up at her home and demanded that she come to the station. She accompanied them even though she didn't know why they were calling. She was asked about the kittens she had left in the woods when she arrived at the station. This left her perplexed. Despite all she had done to protect herself, she had no idea how they had found her. She was told by the questioning officer that they had her trapped, and that all she needed to do was confess the truth. She had left the kittens, and the park officers in charge of the woods had located them. Unfortunately, 9 of them subsequently passed away as a result of their illnesses, the majority of which were upper respiratory infections. Because the kittens had identifying collars, the park was able to identify Michelle as their owner. Michelle came to the realization that she had been trapped. She acknowledged that she felt powerless to change the situation. She didn't know what to do with the kittens that had been left at her door. She said she had even brought the matter to the attention of the local Humane Society in hopes of receiving some assistance, but they turned her down. The only safe option she could think of was to leave the kittens in the woods. Michelle's confession only served to temporarily halt the probe. The Humane Society was approached by the detectives to confirm her story, but they denied that she had ever been in touch with them. They came to the conclusion that she may be lying about the kittens being left on her porch if she was lying about the Humane Society. 9 of the kittens died as a result of this blatant example of animal mistreatment and abandonment. Michelle's situation would not be an exception to Ohio's strict policies to combat animal abuse. She was going to be held accountable for her misdeeds by the investigators. She was accused in court in November. Judge Michael Cicconetti of the Painesville Municipal Court was the judge assigned to her case. He was renowned for using unconventional methods to punish criminals. Even as a young boy, he had a deep affection for animals and found it incomprehensible that some people would choose to mistreat them. He felt that a person had no right to keep an animal if they were incapable of caring for it. There were methods to guarantee that these animals found new homes if their owners were no longer able to care for them. Considering all of this, he never showed mercy to defaulters. Years before, he had handled a case similar to Michelle's, in which a lady neglected to provide her dog with the care it needed. She never cleaned his living space or gave him a bath. Cicconetti punished her by making her stand in the stenchiest and dirtiest waste for 8 hours, allowing her to see what her poor dog had to go through on a daily basis. Michelle remained steadfast on the day of her trial, asserting that she had requested assistance from the Humane Society but had been turned down. But the court thought she was only saying it to get out of getting punished. After hearing the accusations made against her, Judge Cicconetti was appalled. He was particularly appalled that she had done this to 35 kittens. "How would you like to be dumped off at a metro park late at night?" she said to him. "How would you like to spend the night listening to coyotes, listening to the raccoons around you in the dark night, and sit out there in the cold, not knowing where your next meal is coming from or when you'll be rescued?" Unable to respond to his inquiries, Michelle listened silently. As he went on, her fingers were clutched in front of her, her eyes gloomy. Judge Cicconetti gave her two choices: either serve 90 days in jail for abandoning a domestic animal, or be subject to 14 days in jail, 15 days of house arrest, a $500 donation to the park rangers who found the kittens, a $3,200 donation to the Humane Society, and a lonely night in the woods. Michelle considered the judge's ruling. She may be released in 2 weeks, but 90 days in jail was a long time. She decided on the second choice since it appeared simpler. Her punishment was set with a boom of the gavel. The judge ordered her to spend the next 2 weeks in jail and the next 15 days under home arrest. She also made all the necessary donations. The final portion of her sentence was spending the night in the woods. She was left in a secluded spot in the woods the night she was supposed to do it, without any food, water, equipment, or amusement. The clothes she was wearing were all she possessed. Because it was becoming cold, she was allowed to create a fire and take as many clothing as she needed in case she became cold. One of Michelle's worst nights ever was that one. She had trouble falling asleep at night and could hardly close her eyes. Her skin felt harsh and cold against the earth. The fact that she could hear raccoons chatting non-stop all around her didn't help either. They stayed out of sight, concealed by the darkness and the trees, but they were never silent. She felt cold despite the fire she had created and the additional clothing she was wearing. She was sure the raccoons would emerge if she closed her eyes, even for a few seconds. Occasionally, she heard the hooting of owls, followed by the heavy flapping of wings above her. She therefore couldn't sleep a wink and was up all night. The park ranger dispatched a car to come get her by daybreak. The comfortable comfort of her bed and the warmth of her home were all she could think of, and she had bags under her eyes. She was now aware of the suffering endured by the unfortunate kittens when she left them in the untamed forest. She really apologized for her treatment of the animals for the first time since the cops arrived at her house. She discovered the hard way that animals have rights and should be treated with compassion. She made a commitment to never again mistreat any animals. If she were ever given the opportunity to own an animal again, she would make sure to give them the greatest life possible, just like she would do her children. Michelle certainly received what she deserved, and it was once an amazing story. The way she treated animals would never be the same again. What punishment would you have imposed on her if you had been the judge? Please leave a comment below with your opinions. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.